welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today I'm going to get right into the weekly reading for March 1st to the 7th for the sign of Libra. Alright guys, so let's take a quick look at your romance angel messages. We're going to get right into it for the week. Give it another shuffle this way. Pulling out your 3 romance angel messages. And I do wanted to show you as well my new bracelet that I got from My Frequency, New York City. She's got, I got a link to her Etsy site in my description. It's a beautiful bracelet she's made with an amethyst crystal in the center. And I just wanted to let you all know, highlighted that that's her jewelry. She's one of my subscribers, and I was checking out her jewelry. It's just so beautiful. So let's get right into it. Libra, we have You Deserve Love. Here it is. You are lovable. We have Playfulness. We have And Make the Effort. Make the Effort. Now, Make the Effort has come out a couple of times for the weeklies now. Let's go ahead and get right into your animal spirits. Now, just take what relates to you, because not all of you are going to resonate with these animal spirits, right? Sometimes the animal spirits can be people that you're dealing with. Doesn't only have to just be animal spirits that you're resonating with. It can be sort of descriptive of what you're dealing with others at work or in your private life or what have you. All right, so let's just see what animal spirits are walking with Libra this week. All of the love readings for March are out, and I will link yours in the description as well, your monthly. Butterfly, air. We have the vulture, more air. Vulture coming up a lot these days. And we have the dolphin. All right. Oh, that's just my cat acting wacky in the background. Just ignore her. All right, so let's get right into it. The butterfly is a air element animal spirit and really talks about, of course, we know transformation, right? That's the one thing that we all know is representative or symbolic when we see the butterfly. We're talking about full transformation, but a lot of times this can also be a transformation of the mind, really turning into someone much more sort of open, expansive. This is an air elemental, so we are talking about mind and communication. Also, the butterfly is the totem for friends, right? And leaning on or depending on your friends at times of transformation. Because when we go through a full change in our lives, right? Maybe who we are, our character changes, you resonate up, we become wiser, or everything about our outlook changes or what have you. These types of full transformations, they don't necessarily come easily. They're transformations, and we assume that they're good for us, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. And if there's anything that you need right now, certainly reach out to friends, because the butterfly is also symbolic of reaching out to your friends. Now, the vulture is another air element, and the vulture is so important to our ecosystem, right? Without creatures like the vulture, disease, right, would overcome us, and pestilence, and we just wouldn't have any room for growth, right, or rebirth, right? Nothing new would grow without the vulture. And so in this way, the vulture is one of these animal spirits that's really sort of undervalued, right? It's very much, very maligned animal spirit. People don't like it. People don't like vultures. But the truth of the matter is that the spirit of the vulture comes in when all the dirty work has to be done, right? Sometimes somebody has to clean up the mess, right? And the vulture is willing to do that. And so in this way, the vulture is a really sort of oftentimes represents a time in our lives when a certain event has happened and kind of forced us to sort of clean up stuff, right? Deal with stuff. That can be the spirit of the vulture coming in, just like a situation that's forcing you to sort of clean everything up, right? Deal with the hard stuff so that you can really move forward. And so a lot of times those types of events are really undervalued, and that is the nature of the vulture. It's a very undervalued animal spirit. But you'll know when the spirit of the vulture is in your life, because things will be quite gritty, but they will be necessary. Now we have the dolphin, which is a water element spirit, and I love the dolphin. The dolphin really talks about healing, right? It's the highest card in the deck for healing, the highest card for sort of empathy and compassion, sensitivity. It's an animal spirit that is of the water, so we're talking about emotions and feelings here. And of course, the spirit of the dolphin is there when we are going through a very healing period in our lives, or a transformation that allows us to heal. We may be working in that field of healing, or you may be helping somebody else who's going through a particular problem. It's a very nice energy in either case, right? So, and it's interesting that the dolphin would show up in the same reading with the butterfly, because it could be, of course, that the transformation you're going through right now is one that is of a healing nature anyway, right? All right, Libra, let's go ahead and pull out your forecast for the week. We're going to pull out 3 forecasts for you, just to see what your week may be like. And the forecasts are intended to be separate from each other, so check it as it comes. If it doesn't apply to your life at all, you don't resonate with it, any of the readings, that's fine, then it's just not for you. This reading just isn't for you, okay? So, excuse me, you have Strength card, 3 of Pentacles, and you have Temperance. So Strength and Temperance. Well, these are the 2 cards for Leo and Sagittarius, actually, but that's neither here nor there. Coming into the week with Strength cards, so some of you Libras are coming into the week really feeling strong, right, in your energy, but you're also feeling the need to put up certain boundaries, right, because Strength is the card for boundaries as well. 8 is the number for boundaries, and a lot of times when we are sort of exhibiting the type of strength we see here. So when we talk about strength, we talk about strength over our emotions, over our passions, so that our anger, our jealousy, things like that don't erupt and cause us to act out, right? Showing strength means that you're in control of your actions and not your feelings, right? Now, interestingly enough, Temperance is very similar to that. Temperance is when we don't react to outside influences, right? So when nobody from the outside can sort of trigger us or make us react in some way. Here we're talking about not allowing our internal sort of emotions that can be very heated at times cause us to behave a certain way without being in control. And so this is what we mean by strength. But in order to do that, a lot of times we have to set boundaries too. So that's the other, that's the helper to in maintaining your strength, is setting boundaries with people, so that people aren't always overstepping their bounds with you and sucking your energy, sucking your strength, right? And so you're coming into the week, Libra, really thinking about this, and work right now is picking up. You're coming into a week where you have a 3 of Pentacles, energy coming back to you, and that means that you are dealing with an added amount of work. People are starting to notice you. You may be getting more contracts. You may be getting more customers if you have a business. 3 of Pentacles is all about more cooperation, working in a team with people, working with more people, just having a more sort of interactive abundance when it comes to your career or your business. And that's a good thing, right? And also a perfect time, though, for you to exercise strength and ultimately round your week off with Temperance. I think for a lot of you, this is going to be a difficult week, right? Something about the work ramping up is going to be a little bit sort of trying for you, a little bit testing, because it's interesting that you will come in with strength and round off with Temperance. There may be a lot of ups and downs around you. There may be some turmoil around you, and not enough to warrant any kind of power dynamic, because you don't have any 5 cards here. But the spirit of the vulture is here, so there may be some tough decisions coming up at work this week or in business as your business is increasing, right? And so you're having to exercise a lot of temperance, and a lot of sort of strength, right? Clearly, it says, it's obvious. It's those major arcana cards. But it's always interesting when they would show up like this so powerfully in a reading to do with an increase in your career, right? Because 3 of Pentacles indicates an increase. So it could just be that the increase is causing you some anxiety and you're having to be very sort of strong about going through the day-to-day activities. Or it could just be that some of the activities you're having to deal with may not be the most fun. Like you may have to fire someone, you know, or you may have to, you know what I mean, let somebody go off of a project, or, you know, Spirit of the Vulture is doing the dirty work sometimes, and the dirty work means having to deal with those unpleasant conversations. In either case, you get through it, you know, and just remain strong, remain sort of keeping your boundaries intact, and then you'll know how to move forward. All right, we have Judgment, Four of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. Interesting. So Judgment is the card for really forgiveness, right? With Judgment, we understand that certain amount of experiences have begun to happen in your life, and it's what happens. When that happens, we oftentimes look back on other events in our life and say, maybe I could have dealt with that a little bit differently now that I know different. Now that I've been through that experience myself, especially when we're really judgmental on people. You know, when we really judge people for certain decisions that they've made, but we haven't been in their shoes, or we haven't experienced what they've experienced. Later on in life, when we go through perhaps a similar experience, a lot of times we can feel like, damn, you know, now I understand why they reacted the way they reacted. So Judgment is a feeling of reconciliation. It's a feeling of forgiveness. It's a feeling of forgiving yourself as well. And this is an energy you're coming into the week with, some of you Libras. And you come up and you met with a Four of Wands. So it could be that some of you may be reconciling with a lover, with a soulmate connection. You do have make the effort as one of your messages from the romance angels for your week. So it could very well be that some of you are deciding to sort of have that difficult talk, have that healing talk with someone. Interestingly enough, though, you do round the week off with the Eight of Swords, and that's a real toxic energy. And it's interesting why that would be. I wonder if you may, you know what, just be careful, Libra, because it could very well be that you are the one who wants to reconcile a connection that you feel really strongly about, but it may be that the other person hasn't done the healing that they've needed to do to come back into connection with you in a strong way, because Eight of Swords is a very toxic energy. This is a person who's very sort of he doesn't really like to take responsibility. They oftentimes play the victim. You know, they really blame the rest of the world for their inability to take any action or make any decisions. Eight of Swords individuals are usually feeling of alienation there, you know, where you're alienated from everyone else around you because of the way you think, because of your attitude, because you have such a restricted way of looking at the world. Oftentimes these people won't even, when you talk with them, they don't really give anybody else room for their opinion. They're always right. You know what I mean? They have a really sort of toxic way of communicating. And then when they find themselves alienated because of that attitude, they tend to then also lash out and blame everybody else for that also. Well, nobody wants to be around me because they can't handle me. I'm too tough. I'm too real. When the truth is, they're just kind of like an asshole and nobody wants to be around them. And it's just that simple. So this is the Eight of Swords kind of energy. And it's interesting that you'd round off the week with this energy. I don't feel that you're the one resonating with it because you're coming into the week with a feeling of reconciliation. So Judgment is already a positive energy. It's so much more of a positive energy than someone who is resonating with Eight of Swords could have. And so I wonder if that might just be your person. You might just find out that, you know, although you remembered it as being maybe a really strong love connection, and maybe it was, it could just be that your person isn't ready to reconcile, and they may still be holding on to a lot of grudges. They may be still holding on to a lot of toxic energy here. So just take care with your heart. Empress energy, this is the last spread, the Lovers, and the Five of Cups. Again, we're talking about a disappointment, interestingly enough. Okay, Libra. So this week, some of you, this is the last spread. Some of you are coming into the week this week with Empress energy, and you're feeling really in your feminine strength. You're feeling good about yourself. You've been really nurturing yourself, Libra, taking time out for you, you know, getting some of that self-esteem and some of that sexy back in your life, you know, feeling very confident. And that's the Empress. You know, the Empress realizes she needs to do that to remain fertile, to remain creative, to remain, you know, vital, right? So in any case, you're coming into the week with this energy. And you're met with a lover's energy coming towards you. And sometimes it's like, wow, this person, I think you have a connection with someone, right? And, this is a really fraught connection. It's a really touch and go connection. For some reason, them coming into you is not, by the end of the week, you round off with a 5 of Cups. It's a disappointment, So you have something going on with a lover this week. And I think it's more or less that they come to you and yes, there may have been a connection there in the past, right? But I think it almost feels as though, like, when they come into you, it's like you just don't feel the same way anymore as you did before, right? You just kind of like, whatever love or deep, deep love was there before, you just don't feel it with them anymore. And it almost feels to me like you try, right? They're trying, you're trying. This could be a relationship that just had a lot of time off. Where one of you have really changed. Maybe you even, Libra, you've gone through maybe that butterfly effect in a way, that full transformation. And it's like time is, maybe there's been time in between. And now you guys come together and it's assumed that you would be like so in love with each other. But the truth of the matter is that it just isn't there, because by the end of the week, you round off with 5 of Cups. And you feel quite sad for the loss, because I don't think that it's so much that you feel depressed about what's happened just now. It almost feels like you're just kind of mourning the days when you were really in love with this person. Like you realize it really is over, right? And it's not like you miss it so much, because it's over. You don't feel the way you did before. So it's more like you're just mourning how you used to feel about them, right? So it's not like you're heartbroken today, but it's like the love just went away. And it's just like, oh man, that was a good love, but it just isn't there anymore. It's a really odd set of cards coming out, Libra, to have that 5 of Cups there. And to come into weeks so strongly with this Empress energy, and for it to flip right into a 5 of Cups, it just seems to me that it would be this connection that just isn't there anymore. All right. And you're just going to like, you're going to be maybe doing a little bit of healing. This can feel a little bit like the spirit of the vulture as well, having to have that tough conversation with somebody where you say, look, it's just not there anymore. It's just, on paper, it looks like it would be great, but it just isn't there. I'm just over it, or they're just over it. And it does feel very much like a healing and vulture moment, in the sense that it's the dirty work that nobody wants to do, which is having to admit that the love just isn't there anymore. So you do really mourn it by the end of the week, but I think it's a good healing moment for you, Libra. All right, guys, this is your reading, March 1st to the 7th. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and share, right? Go ahead and leave me a comment below if you're going through any of these circumstances or forecasts this week. Don't forget to check out my frequency for a beautiful jewelry, the copper bracelet with the amethyst in it. It's so gorgeous. I love it so much. So nicely done. But for the rest, guys, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week for your weekly outlook. Bye-bye now.